Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at 6.
The White Earth Police Department is asking for your help in the search for a missing vulnerable person. Police say Marlon Hallstatt left his home in Mahnomen on foot yesterday sometime between 4 and 5 p.m. Officials say he is a vulnerable adult and mentally impaired with several medical issues. He was last seen wearing a dark green jacket, gray sweats, and brown shoes. Anyone with information should call White Earth Police Department at 218-983-3201. A Harwood woman was arrested after rear-ending a Fargo police squad car around 1:30 this morning. An officer pulled over 21-year-old Brittany Tinderland in the 3800 block of 13th Avenue South. When Tinderland was free to leave, the officer returned to his car. But before the officer drove away, Tinderland hit the back of the squad car. She was arrested for DUI and cited for failure to have the vehicle under control. No one was hurt. One woman was taken to the hospital after a crash this morning. It happened around 9 a.m. about 3 miles east of Larimore. 30-year-old Lonnie Falcon Jr. of Grand Forks was heading east on County Road 4. He crossed over the center line. 31-year-old Heidi Losby Collison of Arvilla she moved over onto the shoulder, but the two vehicles crashed into each other, going into the ditch. Collison was taken to All True Hospital in Grand Forks. Falcon Jr. and his passenger were not hurt. There are pending charges for Falcon Jr. The new year continues with mild weather with some sunshine today. Summer Schnellbach joins us with a first look at your forecast to see if this trend will continue. Summer?
Katie, it was a beautiful Saturday. Temperatures in the 20s and even some 30s, and the sun stuck with us all day long with just a few high passing clouds. And in our Tower Cam time lapse here in our Luther Family Ford Skycam, you can see the sun was around all afternoon, right into the evening, a perfect view of that sunset with just a few passing clouds. This morning, though, we started off with fog, and that led to some very frosty conditions. Lots and lots of viewer photos sent in to us. This one by LK in Crookston, Minnesota. A gorgeous scene there. And another one of some frost development on a fence. Thank you to Julia for sending in this one. High temperatures today did rise into the 20s and 30s. Some locations like Jamestown nearing that 40-degree mark, whereas Sisseton and Minot we're into the low 40s. 28 degrees in Fargo today, 26 in Grand Forks, 34 in Fosston and Bemidji, 30 degrees up in Grafton. Right now in Fargo, we're at 28 degrees. Feels like 16 though, with a southeasterly breeze at 17 miles per hour. And in Grand Forks, 21 degrees. Feels like 8. Breezes out of the south at 14 miles per hour. And coming up in the 7-day planner, I do have even better news as temperatures will continue to rise over the next several days.
Sounds good to me. Thank you so much, Summer. Planning a wedding in the middle of a pandemic is challenging in itself. It's even more difficult for a Fargo couple separated by the Canadian border shutdown. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie shares their story and how they're fighting to tie the knot.
Mary Westman and Isaac Weisberg met 3 years ago.
Attended the University of North Dakota, where I met Mary.
Westman from Fargo played tennis and studied biology. Weisberg from Canada studied mechanical engineering.
Our first date was Valentine's Day of our senior year.
Flash forward a year. The two picked up work in Lake Charles, Louisiana, later deciding to make home in Bismarck to be closer to family. It was then
he got down on one knee.
Isaac popped the big question.
We talked about a few locations, but ultimately we decided to have it at my family farm, just west of Odessa, Saskatchewan. It's really special to my family. We've had the farm since 1918.
Happily ever after, now a COVID lockdown away. The Canadian border has been closed since March, separating the two families, hoping to become one.
It's difficult.
Even more so for the bride-to-be.
All my family's obviously in the United States, and they would have to quarantine for 2 weeks if we decided to get married there, let alone it's almost impossible if you're not immediate family to go to Canada right now.
And vice versa. Moving the wedding to the U.S. would put Isaac's family on the sideline.
I'm hopeful with the vaccine that the restrictions will lessen a little bit, but At this point in time, I'm not very sure.
Though there's some time before I do, Mary and Isaac praying the border opens sooner than later. And in the meantime,
it's circumstances completely out of your control. You just want to be as positive as possible and hopeful.
In Fargo, Courtney Lonkey, Valley News Live.
Mary and Isaac say there is a note on their save the date saying they are keeping an eye on the situation, adding if the border does not open by June, they're going to elope. Many Americans have already received their $600 stimulus checks. Meanwhile, a bill that would boost that amount to $2,000 is stuck in the Senate. With no plan on the vote in sight, the nation is gauging where the votes are if the vote does come to the floor. There have been a handful of attempts to bring a vote, but they've all been rejected so far. The bill received some bipartisan support in the House, collecting more than 40 Republicans. North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer said he'd be open to it if other priorities are met.
People should know that the cost is $500 billion. And you know, while we've been spending money pretty fast and furious these days, I mean, $500 billion represents more than a third of the entire federal budget. So it's not a trifling matter. And of course, that would mean borrowing the $500 billion.
Senator John Hoeven gave us a statement on his views, saying in part, we are willing to consider the $2,000 stimulus payment. North Dakota tourism has taken a serious hit this year. The state lost out on $1 billion that we would normally see from visitors through December 12th. That's about a third of what visitors spend in the state. It's $162 million tax dollars for the state, and the other more than $900 million is money that businesses around the state are missing out on.
One way we can rebound that is to get people out and moving around this winter, enjoying, embracing the outdoors in winter, but also frequenting those local businesses because they desperately need your support and your help to get through this winter.
Coleman added that while most of the nation's tourism industries aren't expected to recover until 2024, North Dakota is on track to recover sooner. A Valley News Live whistleblower has the accused getting ready to pay up tonight. In a story we first told you about last night, a Moorhead woman says she was scammed by a local dealership. She says she bought a used car from Amity Auto and that she paid an additional $150 for the shop to buy parts and fixed her car. That was 3 months ago, but she says she never got the goods. The owner of the shop tells us he'll be refunding the family and will pay for the repairs to be done by another dealership.
We finished the agreement. We paid $150 to him that came through our loan, and it's been weeks and weeks of trying to get repairs done and excuses and nothing.
We are following this story and we'll bring you updates as soon as the shop follows through. This story came to us through our whistleblower hotline. If you discover something suspicious, call our whistleblower team and we'll work to investigate it. Call our whistleblower hotline now at 701-237-6576 and leave your tip. Later on Valley News Live at 6, a group of Republican senators is demanding an audit of the 2020 presidential election results.
Temperatures have been unseasonably mild today, and they still continue to be this evening, with much of the region having temperatures currently in the 20s and low 30s. It's 30 still in Devil's Lake. Even warmer weather is still on the way, along with a couple chances for some light snow, mixed precipitation. Details are next.